Have you been waiting for my next book review? It's on The Green Witch. That's coming up right after this. Hi everybody, my name is Mel. I am the owner, the operator, the creator at Mel's Divination. And on Wednesdays, I post videos every single week here on YouTube for things that are witchcraft, spiritual, or tarot in nature. Today, we are going to do a book review. I am a bit overdue. I did do a voting poll on the community tab, so feel free to check that out and add your input. A lot of people posted that they wanted to see more book reviews once a month rather than every other month or every once in a while. So here's this month's book review. I didn't do one for January. It was just, did I? I'm not sure. I don't remember. It's kind of a blur. I don't think I did one for January. The last one I did was the Good Spell book, and today we're going to do The Green Witch. This is a book I've had for quite a while. So The Green Witch is by Arin Murphy-Hiscock, I think is how to say her name. It's spelled a little funny, so I'm not sure about pronouncing things properly. I'm so bad at pronunciation. But she is an author that I have been following for a long time. So we're going to jump right into this. Before I really get started, if you enjoy this kind of material, I suggest that you hit the like button, the subscribe button, the notification bell, so that you can get notified when I post a new video. I do Witchy Wednesdays, and then on Fridays, we do Flip Through Friday, which is me flipping through some of my decks that I have for divination, oracle or tarot, that kind of thing. I also will occasionally go live and do giveaways, so keep an eye out for those. Now, back to the book. With the book, I've had this book. This was one of the first witchcraft branching out books that I purchased for myself when I really started to get very serious about investigating what kind of a witch I thought I was. Because before that, I hadn't bought a ton of books, and I had thumbed through some, and I have a few books that are older, but this one is fairly new. It was published in 2017, and I bought it when it came out, so I guess not super new because it is 2022. But it was one of my newer books as far as when I purchased it. I bought it right about the time that it came out. The cover is like a matte sort of, and I really like this cover because it's a hardcover, it's durable. The book, I think it's labeled down here for $16.99 US. I'm not sure if it's still priced at that, but it probably is because it wasn't that long ago when I bought it. It is a really good beginner book, I would say. I would not label this super in-depth. I did recently see Olivia, the Witch of Wonderlust, talk about this book, and I felt like I had to disagree a tiny bit with what she said. I agree/disagree because she was looking for more depth. And yes, this book is not an extremely in-depth book, and so it is more of a beginner kind of book to get started with. If you're looking into Green Witchery, if you're looking into working with herbs, if you're trying to learn some stuff about it. Now, it was somewhat surface in the sense of if you're an advanced witch and you're looking for more advanced information, you're not going to find that here. This is more for beginner witchcraft, beginner green witches, and where you can begin, okay? I do really like it because there are activities in here that I look up and I will do sometimes, and I use it more as a reference book now. But I did read it cover to cover when I first got it, and I enjoyed it. The thing that she does with the chapters, so she talks about what is green witchcraft, embracing your power, how to attune to nature. So there's some exercises here, manifesting with the seasons, and then there's a whole part 2 of walking the green path, how to live closely with the earth, how to keep a green witch garden, which I don't really do. How to create and craft Green Witch magic, becoming a healer, and then Green Witch kitchen recipes. Her recipes, oh my gosh, there is a recipe. I want to say it's in this book because I own several of her books. I'm going to double check. I'll get back to that. But she has a recipe that I absolutely love, that you're infusing, that you're cooking food and you're infusing your intention while you're cooking food. She does that with all her recipes, but there's one that I really like called rosemary potatoes. I'll get back to you guys. I'll look this up. I'll look it up and then I'll add a little bit more information on that. But what I really like about some of the things that she does is she kind of gives a very general overview, like tools to use and how to check in with nature and how to feel that energy and what are different things that you could use that are beneficial for you. How can you get your house better? How can you check in with the elements? How you can use incense. Now, some of her activities that she offered I wasn't super into because they were a little extreme. Some of the ones were like going out to the ocean. Some were talking about the seasons and different kinds of meditations for each season, which I do find is really cool. Like the solstice and the season of, like, there's rituals. She talks about blessing gardens. So if you're really into growing stuff, which I'm not because I just don't have the time. I started to, and then I ended up stopping because I just didn't have the time to invest in it. So she talks about different things about the moon cycles, the trees, and one thing I really, really like she gets into, there's a whole section of magic of trees. And then she lists all these different kinds of trees, and she kind of gives a little background information about how they can help and how you can check in with the trees and how to collect wood efficiently in materials without upsetting the trees. Then she does the same thing with flowers, and she gets really deep into flowers and how to collect those in the wild and what they look like and what they use and etc. Then she talks about crystals a bit and how they're the bones of the earth. Then she talks about keeping a garden and then designing your garden. And there's a lot in here about gardens. I'm not a gardener, so it didn't really help me very much. She also talks about herbs and how to work with the herbs and different ways to work with herbs and how to bless what you're making. She does get in depth in a sense of she covers a lot of herbal witchcraft, plant matter that isn't covered in a lot of books because this is focused specifically about plants. Mostly about plants, mostly about nature, mostly about how to work with all that, how to create your own incense, how to create different crafts. So there's like spell bags and brooms and perfumes. So, sorry, I'm looking down. I just want to make sure I'm sharing all this with you. It was hard to take notes on it, so I figured I'd just flip through the book while I was talking to you because I've read it. How to become a healer, different teas that you can make, and then the recipes. It's really a good starting point if you're looking into witchcraft in a green nature, if you're trying to do it mostly just around nature. Some of the views were a little bit too much for me, which is why I don't consider myself necessarily a green witch because I'm not as specific with nature as some of the stuff that she was talking about. It just didn't really apply to me. But that is me using my own judgment. The other thing I really like that she has about the way this book is set up is at the very back of the book, there is an appendix of all the magical herbs. So there's a huge appendix of, and it's just a very brief, like vanilla, love, prosperity, lust, energy, mental abilities, creativity. So it doesn't get super in depth. It's just like a quick buzzword for each thing, a few little words of what does each one stand for. Mistletoe, healing, protection, love, fertility, sleep, and luck. So it's like that. It's just and it's not a huge index. It's not super extensive, but it is a good amount. And then she has a really long bibliography. So all these places of where did she learn this? How can you reference it? Other suggestions, other books. It's like three or four pages long with the bibliography. And I really like that because she's giving reference to where she learned this. And then there's an index at the back. Overall, would I recommend this for somebody who is an advanced witch? it can help a little bit. It may open your eyes to some activities you've never thought of doing. It may open your eyes to an approach that you've never really considered. But if you're advanced and you've read other things on green witchcraft, it's probably not going to be great for you. If you're new and you're wanting to really get into it and you're looking for ways to test it out and get started with your herbal like bibliographies and stuff like that, this is perfect for you. That's how I started with working with trees and flowers and plants more and more, and putting it more into my craft than I did before. Before it was mostly candles and meditation and mind, thought, manifestation kind of magic. So this expanded me more so in a way that I wasn't before. I did find it beneficial. I do like the way she writes. I find it very approachable. I actually own 3 of her books. I will go over the 2 other ones that I have in the future. One is about self-care, and it's not really a witchy book, but the potato recipe might be in there. There's recipes in that book as well. And then there's another one called Protection Spells that is amazing. She has multiple other books than that, but those are the 3 that I have read and own. I absolutely love the protection spell one. I'm going to go over that one with you another time. But I wanted to share this one because I'm going to be doing a video just in a few days about nettle. And this is kind of like an introduction to herbs or to witchcraft herb work. And that's why I wanted to suggest this book. It has helped me quite a bit with my herbal workings and really a quick reference guide for that. Let me know if you've read this book, if you own this book. The one thing I didn't like about the protection spell book is it's lavender colored, which is beautiful, but it's porous. So it easily got dirty. So I actually have it covered, like an old fashioned brown paper bag cover over it so that it didn't destroy the book. It's very sturdy, it's very easy to understand, it's pretty straightforward, it's not jumping around, and it's very clear that she is a seasoned witch. She has been doing this for a long time. She's not somebody who just ran out one day and decided to write a book. So I do recommend this if you're on the beginner, early, intermediate spectrum and you're looking to get more acquainted with some greenery of how to include that in your spell work, in your daily work, because it does talk about daily things as well. I'm going to check for the recipe right now and I'll get back to you about that. And I will flip through this a little bit when the camera faced around because I know this is backwards, but I'll show you the chapters and I'll flip through some of the bibliographies and some of the herbal stuff so you can see what it looks like, but I'm not going to do a major flip through. All right, so here is the non-mirrored version of the book. And as you can see, it's Arin Murphy-Hiscock is the name. I think it's like Arin, but Arin. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce it. And this is what the back looks like. Okay. The book is a matte. It's not glossy or shiny. That's what the binding looks like. And we're going to go through some of the book, not all of it. Here's the contents. Okay, so there's an introduction, history of green witchcraft, celebrating life, the oath, embracing your power. She talks about herbs and plants and tools. I like how tools are very simple for the most part. Don't need a staff. Making your home a sacred space, how to improve it, purification. All right, let's jump to, she does go over the equinoxes and meditations. She gives like a basic meditation for each season. I'm not sure if you guys can see this good enough. Hopefully you can. So that's a big thing. The vernal equinox. She talks about each equinox. Summer solstice. Okay. Performing seasonal rituals. So then she gives you ideas about how to follow the season. And then she gets into the next section of walking the green path. I wanted to show you guys some of the things that she gave for correspondences. Okay, so on page 107, she gets into the magic of trees. And in it, she literally lists so many local trees and what their energies are and how to use them. And it keeps going. I find it to be an extremely helpful small little reference, right? It talks about how to collect wood, how to tap into those energies. Then she gets into flowers. Same idea. She talks more about flowers. Now, if you have an encyclopedia of herbs and plants, this may be redundant. It depends on what encyclopedia you have and what kind of information you're looking for, truthfully. And then she gets into herbs and greens. I have found this one to be quite helpful. I think this was the first real one I ever got, because everything else I was just taking notes on outside of things. I believe this was the first book I ever bought that had all these lists and what they do. Everything else I was just researching online. Then she gets into stones, and then I was like taking notes in my own journal. Different things of stones. One thing I don't like about citrine that she doesn't talk about, she doesn't mention that it's great for money, that it's great for abundance, that it's great for joy. So I can tell you right away with citrine, that's a limited point of view. Because citrine is one of my favorites. So it is limited, but it's helpful, especially if you're just starting out. It's not exhaustive. So it tells you how to clean the stones, how to use the stones. Let me see if she talks about black tourmaline being poisonous. Oh, she doesn't even talk about black tourmaline. Does she talk about any tourmaline? Nope. So there you go. No tourmaline. Then she talks about how to do a garden, which I did not use or benefit from because I don't keep a garden. So we can skip over that. How to do crafting and make herbs. Lots of elemental things. Incense. She has a lot of incense ingredients. How to work with incense. How to create spell bags. A dream pillow. Garden spell bags. There's a lot of little rituals throughout. Brewing tea. different kinds of teas. And then this is all about oils. Recipes for oils, bath salts. This is actually where I started coming up with my ideas for recipes for bath salts. Candied flowers, flower syrup. There's a lot of really great recipes in here of different varieties that you may be interested in. How to work with vegetables and the energies of vegetables. Different soups. Apple and almond curry soup. I haven't tried that one. Or the tomato. I think I made the tomato one. I'm not sure. No, I did not make her tomato one. I made a carrot soup. Carrot and coriander, but it wasn't hers. That's interesting that she has one. I like the idea of infusing recipes with intention. And she does talk about that. She talks about how using thyme or dill or chives or rosemary in something can add intention, can add an energy to the food that you're making. And then in the back, it's the associations of natural items. So then it just goes. And so this is a mixture. It's very short. Each thing is very short, but it's another kind of like index. It has herbs, it has plants, it has trees. I don't know if it has oils. I don't know if it actually has any. I don't see any stones. But I found it very interesting. And then she has a full bibliography that you can reference to read more information of where she learned this, and then an index in the back. So it's really great for a beginner. Now we're going to hop back to me. See you in a minute. That is about it. Okay, so the recipe I was looking for is not in this book. It must be in the self-care book, which is about rosemary potatoes. And you'll have to wait until I do a review on that one that I will share that recipe. But it is, she does have multiple recipes like tomato soup in here and some other things, how to make some bread. That is about including the herbs or the vegetables or what food item it is and what the vibration is of that. So for instance, tomato soup, I just looked up because I literally just made my own kind of tomato soup. And tomatoes are, she says, are about love and I think purity, I think, or prosperity. I don't know, it started with a P. I'm tired. It's been a long day. Sorry guys, my cat has an injury and it's just been a wild day. We also had a blizzard here, which I will share some of those photos, those video, I'll put it together so you can see what that looks like if you don't live around here. So that is it. I'm gonna give you a quick little flip through and I will see you guys all in the next video. Comment down below if this kind of book was something you've read, if you're interested in, how do you feel about this author? And let me know if you're interested in a book club, because I have been seriously considering that for starting my Patreon. I have not started a Patreon yet, but I am considering getting going if I can find enough people that would be interested in doing something like that. We'd read a new book like every 6 weeks or something. Okay, I'll see you guys later. Bye.